Hello, welcome to this session of OpenVentor.net. In this session, we are going to see loops in VBScript. There are different loops. Let us see those loops, those constructs one by one. The very first loop is the for loop. For, then it is ending with next. So anything between for and next is the loop's body. It has a variable for or for the loop counter for I equal to 1 to say, let us say 5. So it's moving from 1 to 5. Let me print I. Okay. So the very basic step in the for loop is for a loop counter equal to starting position to ending position message box. If you just leave like this, this will be incrementing the variable 1 by 1. So it will be 1 initially, then it will be incremented to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Let us execute this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the loop executes from 1 to 5. It's the same thing. Instead of stepping by 1, if I say step 2, initially I will be 1, then it will be to 3, it will be to 3. It will be to 5. So 1, 3, 5. It will not execute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be incrementing by 2. Let us execute this once again. Now it is 1. It is incremented to 3. It is incremented to 5. Then it exits. The moment the loop counter goes beyond this value, it will come out of the loop. So you have for a counter, starting state, ending number, step size, then the body, then the final word is next. So this is the first kind of loop. So when you know this is the definitive number of times I'll be executing, you can use for loops. There is one more thing, like there is a while loop. So I'm going to use something like I equal to 1. There is a while, then it ends with wend, W-E-N-D, wend. So you need to give a condition over here. Why I less than or equal to 5, do something. MSG box I, and then you have to increment that I, otherwise it will become an infinite loop. So initially I have got I equal to 1, then I have a while, I have a condition. As long as this condition is true, it will execute. While message box, then increment that wend. While and wend is another construct. Now let us execute this. So effect is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The effect is exactly the same because we are doing a numeric incrementing. This condition can be anything. In for loop, it is always from a variable to end variable. But in while condition, you should always use a condition over here. This condition can be anything. So though I have given a numeric variable condition over here, you can have any condition. As long as this condition is true, it will execute. Now the same loop can be executed in a different way. This is called do loop. Okay, instead of while wend, you use do loop, then put the condition over here. Initially we have while and wend. Now what we have is do body loop, then the condition while I less than or equal to 5. So again, as long as the condition is true, this loop will execute. Now let us execute this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty standard. Though what is the difference between while wend and do loop while? In while wend, the loop will execute at least let us say while wend. In this case, loop will execute only when condition is true. You don't have the guarantee of executing at least once. Whereas in this case, in while wend, it will do check condition and then go to loop body. This is what is happening in while wend. Whereas in do loop while, first execute body and then check condition. For example, I have initialized I is equal to 1. So right at the first chart, this I is less than or equal to 5. Now let me make this I equal to 6. Okay, let me make I equal to 6. Let me execute this. When I execute this, it executed once. So in do loop while, first it will execute the body, then it will check for the condition. So even if the condition is false right at the first shot, it will still execute the body. That's the difference between while wend and do while. Now you can also have do until loop. In the do until loop, you need to put a condition. As long as this is false, do loop until will execute as long as the condition is false. So now I have got I is equal to 1. 1 is not greater than 5, so that is false. So the loop will execute. The moment I becomes 6, this becomes true, then it will exit out of the loop. Let me execute this. 3, 4, 5. It executes. The moment it reaches 6, 6 greater than 5, this condition becomes true. It exits that. So we have basically for loop, while wend loop, do while loop, and do until loop. For loop is a definitive loop. You know the number of times it's going to execute. As long as the condition is true, while wend will execute. Condition will be checked first, body will be executed next. In do loop while, body will be executed. As long as the condition is true, the loop will execute. In do loop until, as long as the condition is false, the loop will be executed. We will end this session here. Thank you.